just make sure I get to the ends of the frets as well. It's quite easy to miss those, and you know, they still look all grimy while the rest of them are much cleaner. Okay, so that's all I'm doing to those. Yeah, I'm not sure how well you're going to see that, but they're clean. They're good enough. But you can see now that the fretboard is a bit messed up where I did that. Oh dear. So what I do with a single edge razor blade is clean up the fretboard. Okay, so starting with the first one, I'm just scraping off, not even taking any wood off. It's just literally just to remove any dirt and grime. And it really doesn't need very much at all. This fretboard's in good condition. It's just to remove the dirt and grime and DNA. Nice. Just clean up the back of the nut as well. This part of the job is very time consuming, but worthwhile. Okay, so I've only done the first one there, but I'm sure you can see how different it looks to the rest of them. So I'm going to get through this as quickly as I can. I know it's not very interesting for you to watch me do all of these, but like I said, unfortunately I don't have the ability to pause this camera whilst recording. It does. The remote control does have a pause button on it, but it doesn't seem to do anything. So I'm a bit annoyed about that, but there it is. Nothing I can do. I'm going to get a different angle to do this because it's not too easy that way. That's better. That's much better. As I said, the customer probably won't even appreciate what I've done here. Some of them do, but for the most part, they're just like, thanks, see you later. And you know, I'm not charging them for this. The only money he's paying me is to supply and fit the strings. You know, this is all above and beyond. But I like to do a decent job. And yeah, this is a little bit time consuming, a bit tedious, but the end result makes all the difference. And you know, I want customers to understand, realise that, you know, I'm not just a backstreet bodger. I do the job properly, I do it nicely, and you know, when they get their guitar back, it looks a lot different to when they brought it in, because I don't know why, but for some reason Thai people are not that concerned about looking after the looks of their instrument. I mean, like I said, this is not a high-end guitar, it's not a really expensive one, but I just don't understand why they don't look after them a bit better. Anyway, not for me to judge. Gives me something to do. So as you get down towards the body end of the fretboard, obviously the frets get closer together. gets a bit more tricky to do this. It's not too bad. Let's try a different approach. Oh, this is really odd. Got a little nick in it there, but took it out again straight away. Easily done, easily fixed. I mean, strangely enough, I haven't done this to any of my instruments for quite a long time. And I have to be honest, some of them are in a pretty desperate need of not a fret job, but, you know, fret and fretboard cleanup. In particular, my lovely Ohana tenor ukulele, the low G, one of my favourite instruments of my collection. I mean, it's good quality, and I love the sound of it. It's got a lovely deep rich tone, and the low G accentuates that. I prefer a low G on a ukulele myself, although it's not what would be considered as the standard. I just prefer it. Okay, only 2 or 3 more to do. Okay, let's give that a brush off. Okay, so as you can probably see, it already looks a whole lot better. And the next job is a coat of my trusty old boiled linseed oil. Now I'm going to do that before I do the rest of the guitar, which isn't usually ideal because, you know, you'll get dust flying around, stick to it, but I want time for the oil to soak in before I come to restringing it. Okay, so usual way, a little bit on the cloth and all over the fretboard. I'm not going to bother doing the bridge. Okay, so you make sure you get a good coating on. You don't need a lot, very small amount. I mean, I literally just put a spot on the cloth, and that's more than enough to do the entire fretboard. You really don't want very much. And, you know, it will only soak in so much into the wood. As I said, this fretboard wasn't in bad shape anyway, it's pretty good. So, you know, there is only a certain amount of oil that the fretboard will absorb, and then the rest will basically sit on top. So you definitely want to make sure you remove all of the excess oil. You do not want to leave a residue on the fretboard, because it will attract dust and dirt and it will look horrendous in no time, and it will be, you know, pretty nasty for playing, because it will get all over your fingers, and it's just, you know, it's good stuff, but at the same time it can be nasty. My wife absolutely hates the smell of it. Personally, I love it. I'm a bit weird. So that's most of the excess wiped off. I'll just leave it a couple of minutes and then wipe it over again, but I'm sure you'll agree that looks really nice. Yeah, this camera isn't the best for picking this kind of thing up. So next thing I want to do is just use my brush, if I can find where I put it. What's that gone? Oh well, I'll get another one. What's that? And just brush off some of the dust in other areas. Oh, it's pretty grimy. Ooh. Loads of DNA on this. Lovely. Around the electronics as well. There's not a great deal of dust. It's mostly, you know, sort of fingerprints and, like I said, DNA and sweat, which is really, really nice. Actually, looking at the side of the neck, I hadn't looked at it before. to be quite a few little scratches and marks along the side of there. Possibly from the owner's fingernails or wearing a ring or something, I don't know. Anyway, it's not too bad. Let's get that sandpaper out of the way. Yeah, I mean overall it's in pretty good shape. So what I'm going to do, I was going to polish this guitar, but no, I'm not going to. So what I've got here is just a cup with some clean, mildly soapy water, hand soap, not like wash it up liquid or anything. And I'm just going to give it a wipe over. I've got a little sponge in there. Actually I'm going to do a test area first. Let's do it on the side here. Just going to do a small test area. Make sure there's not any problems. Get a brand new clean cloth. Just wipe that off. I don't want it to get too wet. Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. There's no need to polish it, but it does need a good clean all over. So that's the job now. Try not to get too much water. I mean, this sponge is very soft and light. It's not going to cause any scratches or anything. And in this black finish, you know, you would notice that really easily if there were any scratches. And that's coming up rather nice. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Probably better actually than trying to polish it, because you know, polishing black is difficult. Ask me how I know. Okay, so again, the camera's not really going to pick it up, but that's, I don't know how well you can see that. Anyway, that's probably, yeah, all you're getting is a reflection. Yeah, there you go. So you can see it's all greasy and grimy and nasty and then this side I've cleaned. It's really difficult to show this. I think you can see the difference there. Beautiful and shiny. As I said, I don't think this guitar is very old at all, because it is in pretty good shape. Okay, so I'll do the other side. I'm going to be particularly careful around the electronics. Don't want to get any water in there at all. At all. But yeah, this is coming up really nice. And it's a lot quicker than trying to polish it as well. I shouldn't even be doing this really, but there you go. This is just the way I do it. This is how I work. You know, I always go above and beyond. It's not about the money. I mean, I'm making practically nothing on this. It's not about the money. It's about quality of service. And, you know, without trying to boast or anything, that's just the way I've always worked it in every job I've done. I always make sure I do the best possible job I can. And why not? That's good customer service, isn't it? That's my opinion. Okay, so go on to the back now. Just leave that along a bit. Hold on. Move that along. So the back is pretty bad. So is the top, to be honest. One thing I forgot to mention about this particular guitar is the specs. I had a quick look online before I started the work on it. It's a spruce top. The back, sides and neck made of NATO wood. Yeah. And rosewood, fretboard and bridge. So, you know, pretty standard stuff really. Nothing spectacular. I would expect the top to be solid wood. I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't checked and I'm not going to. Not that interested. It's irrelevant to what I'm doing. Okay, there's quite a lot of scratches and swirl marks on the back of this. Obviously, you know, it's a it's a used guitar, it's being played. So again, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but that's pretty good. Right, neck. Now the neck is a matte finish, so it's not going to come up shiny like that. And I have to be honest, I prefer a matte finish on a neck. I'm not going to go, mad on this. But this just makes all the difference, to doing a job like this. Just making sure it's lovely and clean. I mean, it won't last. A couple of days back in the owner's hands and it'll be just as grubby and grimy again, but at least they can see I've, given it proper care and attention. Yeah, I mean, everything I'm doing on this is pointing to the fact that this guitar is not very old at all. So, the tuners have come up lovely and shiny. Okay, let me just check the finger marks, a few finger marks on the back there. Okay, so I can already see that there's still a little bit of excess oil sitting on top of the fretboard, so I'm just going to wipe that over again, remove that. It's good. Okay, so I'll do the headstock next, and the front of the tuners and everything. I mean, like I said, I could take the time to polish this up and everything, but there's no point going too much above and beyond. And, like I keep saying, the customer's not really going to appreciate the work. They'll just take a look and say, oh, okay, cheers, see you later. So, but I take pride in my work, and even though they're not going to look at it and say, wow, it looks like a new guitar, it's fantastic, amazing, you're a fantastic person. I ain't going to get any of that, but it gives me satisfaction. When I finish a job and it's all lovely and clean and as good as it can be, I'm satisfied with the job. And that's important to me. It's important that the customer is too. And you do get some customers who really appreciate what you've done and think that it's amazing that you've done so much for so little money. And it's nice to be appreciated for what you do. When you put in the effort to do a good job, to do a nice job, it's just nice to have some recognition, It's not what I do it for. Like I said, I do it for my own peace of mind, to know that I've done a good job. And that I'm satisfied with the end result. It's very important. Like I said, I want to please the customer, but you can't always, so you do what you can, don't you? But that, as I said, apart from the, generic scratches and swirly marks, that's really coming up nice. And like I said, I'm not going to remove that plastic cover on the scratch plate. The owner obviously wants it left on there. And like I said, I prefer to do that as well. Just keeps it all fresh and new. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's all come out rather nice. And it didn't really take much effort at all. I mean, yeah, it took 10 minutes or so, but not even that. Just makes all the difference. It looks completely different to when it came in, just from giving it a wipe over with some water. It's literally all I've done, no polish. Yeah, that's looking really nice. Found some more finger marks. That's the problem with the oil on the fretboard, you see. Every time you handle it and then handle another part of the guitar, you get greasy marks. There's not much you can do. But okay, so we're ready for a new set of strings. I've still not 100% decided whether to, put another set of 10s on or go lighter with a set of 9s. Definitely not 11s. Because that, that bridge, although it's not a huge problem right now, it could get worse. Well, it will get worse eventually. So let's have a little think. What to do? I mean, the difference in gauge. Where's that come from? The difference in gauge between these two 945s and 1047s. So the high E is a difference of 1/1000th of an inch, and the difference on the low E is 2/1000ths of an inch, which is immeasurable, and you're certainly not going to feel it. I literally can't decide. I'm going to put the lights on it, or super lights as they are. I'm going to put the 9s on it, just for my own peace of mind. The customer's not going to know any different. Actually, no, I am putting the 10s on. Change my mind. That's what the customer wanted, so that's what he's going to have. I think it'll be fine. There is a significant belly bulge. Actually, before I string it up, I just want to see if that belly bulge is still there. Yeah, no different. Okay, so it's time to string her up. Let's make sure I've got my string line. Oh, actually, I won't need that. Bridge pins. Okay. So, brand new set of D'Addario phosphor bronze 1047 extra light gauge strings. For those of you who are interested, they're D'Addario EJ15. That's the, oh my god, EJ15. For those of you that are interested in that. Right, let's start with the D string. Okay, which is black. I've got the colour-coded ends on there, so the D string is the black one. Okay, black. No, what am I thinking? My mind's not on. My mind is on the job, but my mind is all over the place at the moment. I've got so many things going on, some good, some bad. I can't actually think straight at the moment. Right, so I'm going to start with the low E, which is the brass coloured one. Okay, so what I tend to do is I put a little bend on the end of the string just to help the angle into the bridge pin hole. Okay, so first string going in, this is the E string. Just make sure that the end of the string goes past the end of the bridge pin. It doesn't appear to be doing that right now. That's strange. Yeah, I think that's got it. Okay. Right, first string going on. Okay, I'm going to just move the guitar down so that you can see the headstock end. Just turn the camera a little bit. I'm going to try and zoom in a bit. Doesn't seem to be focusing too well. Okay. No. I don't know. Okay. So what I do when I'm stringing guitars up, and many of you have seen this many times before, I bring the string up to the inside of the post, bring it up taut, and wrap around from the inside out, go around 1.5 times and through the hole. So the reason I do it that way is the string is almost taut, and it means you don't have to wind the tuner round and round and round to get it tight. The E string is always the hardest to push right through. There we go. Okay. Right, so now holding the end of the string up above the string post, I'm now going to turn the tuner, get it taut but not tight at this stage. Okay, that'll do for now.